But hear me out, Jai. Hear me out.
No, but before I hear
It's
you
better
out,
to it's better to
let me
be.
push back on that. Rental.
You know I'm gonna lose my thought.
That's good. I want to win this argument.
Hey guys, welcome to Thought Friday. My name is Kevin. This is Jai, and once again we have some great topics for you with respect to Thought Friday.
Dude is drunk.
Sorry,
Let's just throw it out
just a
there.
little alcohol,
Yeah,
you know.
he's
Hey, it's
drunk. Yeah,
Friday,
he's
man.
drunk,
It's
man.
Friday.
He's drunk.
And yeah, no, Jai, I was true, definitely tipsy, definitely tipsy. But no, Jai, I went out with a couple of friends. Haven't seen them in years. I mean, I've seen them in years, but just like off and on. Like we're not close. And my boy, he just bought his first condo, and I distinctly remember I was telling him about what I did. I basically bought a house, and then I moved into my mama's house, and then I saved up my money, and then I used the equity out of the first house to buy this house that I live in now. And I remember I was telling him that prescription, or not prescription, but that sequence
Yeah.
or prescribe that process. And I think he heard me, but then it was years ago, right? Years and years ago. We link up, and I'm asking him how his condo's going, and he's telling me, oh, some bad news. I'm like, what's the bad news? And then he's like, oh, you know what? I'm gonna have to turn it into an Airbnb, and I'm gonna stay home. I'm like, dude, that's exactly what I told you to do like 3 years ago. Like, that's amazing. I'm
Yeah.
so proud of you. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? And it's just, and I think we talked about this in another podcast where friends, like I try to give my knowledge, but they just don't listen. I mean, he's listening now, which is fantastic, but it was just so funny how he was like
But is it?
telling me he's got to do Airbnb. This
Yeah.
is exactly what I told him to do. Not necessarily Airbnb, but renting it
Renting it
out
out. Yeah.
like traditionally, but Airbnb is the next best thing.
But do you,
But sorry, I cut you off.
no, that's okay. Do you think they don't listen, or because they just didn't have the means to do it? Because I find that a lot of times when people are contrarians, it's probably because they can't do what it is that you're telling them to do. So they come at you with combative attitude.
Yeah.
Not necessarily combative, but they try to find all the excuses not to do what it is you're telling them to do in terms of giving them advice.
Honestly, I think it's something where I don't know if people necessarily trust how I do things. I'm a very unconventional person. I think quite differently, and so I think it's more of that. It's not necessarily they don't believe me, but it's just I'm just different, and so
No, 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 no.
Kevin thinks different,
Yeah.
so
No, I'm not saying they don't
I'm
believe
not
you.
gonna believe
Yeah,
him.
no, I'm not saying they don't
Yeah.
believe you, but maybe they don't have the means to do what you ask them or giving them advice to do at that point in time. So they come up with all sorts of not negative ways, but they come up with sort all sort of ways not to do it, making it sound like what you're saying is not right because at that point
Hmm.
they don't have the means to do what it is you're telling them to do. You understand where I'm
Yeah.
coming from?
Yes, I hear you, but I think with this is a bit different because he had bought the condo, he owned the condo, and he was planning on moving in. And so all I was just saying was, hey, stay at your mom's house. Ain't no one kicking you out. And take advantage of this
How
asset
old is this
and let it,
gentleman?
you know, he's our age.
Yes, you
He's our age.
because he's to live in his mom's house at that age.
Hey, don't be dissing the man. Listen, hey,
Okay,
listen. Jai, I moved out when I was like 26 years old. It's probably the biggest regret that I had
I agree with you.
because I was working. I was making like 40,000 at the time. This is years ago, so it's quite a bit of money back then. And I moved out. Now, I moved out because I had my first daughter and the house was getting a little bit too small for my brand new daughter, right? So, I moved out for a very legitimate reason, but in hindsight, I kind of wish I just stayed home, saved as much money as possible, and then, you know, bought, at that time. So I think I really think it's great if you stay at home as long as possible. I don't see any benefit to you leaving early or trying to get your own place sooner, other than trying to get some tail, right? You want to get some tail, you want to be out there, you want to go to the clubs, you want to have a place to bring the girls back. But honestly, other than that, I don't see any benefit. I don't know what you think about that.
Well, here's my thought. It's all about making money at the end of the day. So at that age, 26, you're not thinking 20 years down the line. Maybe for you, you were unconventional, so maybe that's what you were thinking, right? But at 26, you're just thinking about having fun. So you're not really thinking about
Exactly.
not, like, so you having to save money or moving out. I mean, sorry, you having to rent out your place is an anomaly. Most 26-year-olds who buy a place want to stay at that place and get their, celebrate their freedom and whatever the case may be. Is it a good idea to do what it is that you did then? Absolutely, because if you can save money, why not? But to a 26-year-old, I just got my place and I'm going to rent it out again to move back to my parents. That's a hard pill to swallow. It's really hard.
It's a hard pill, but I think this is one of our problems in our community: delayed gratification. I think delayed
No, that's
gratification
true.
is a
That's true.
huge thing
That's true.
that
Yeah,
we
that's
have to
true.
understand in our culture. And this is the interesting thing: when you have delayed gratification, you actually appreciate the things that you waited for so much more. You
But
appreciate them so much more.
delayed gratification, because that also comes with a difference of learning. You know what I mean? So if you delay gratification, so for instance, with the house thing that you're talking about, you don't learn until you make those mistakes. You can't be perfect at the beginning. Like you don't have to do things right at the beginning. Now, you don't have to do things wrong, but you don't have to do everything right. So
Mhm.
with buying that condo or buying a property at 26, that is a good step in the right direction. But having an Airbnb or renting it out and going back to your parents, I don't know that I necessarily agree that people would want to do that, especially if your pride and joy is buying your first home. So,
I think in this generation, back in the day, years ago, you would be right. But the way prices are, the way inflation is just sky is just going immensely more than income. I think that's the reality for a lot of younger generation. I'm just being honest.
they can't even
It's
buy the
just the
home.
disparity is too
Yeah,
great.
they can't even buy the
That's
home to
right. The
start with. Yeah.
disparity is too great.
Yeah.
So my whole thing is I tell every young kid, don't expect your first home to be your first home. I think that first home is your investment home. And then you rent it out, you get equity 5 years later when the mortgage is up for renewal, you now take your first about amount of equity out of in a HELOC or something like that. And then you use that money to buy or put down a down payment on your forever home or your first starter home. I think that's a reality, brother. I think that's a true reality of this generation. It's not working,
Okay. So
right?
that's
I bought my first house at 200. Well, my condo I bought at
so
$240,000,
here's the question.
and that was a lot.
Yeah, here's the
Yeah.
question. 240. That was a lot, but it was achievable then. Now you're talking about homes,
Hmm.
even condos going for high sixes, seven, eight, right? And this is somebody coming out of
Yeah.
university that's making maybe 60, 50, thereabout. Let's just say even 80.
Yeah.
Would you advise them to buy a home knowing that they can't really afford it? Like what would you give somebody coming out of school who's making 70, 80, whose income is not enough to buy a home, but they want to invest in something? What would you tell them to do with that money or residual income that they have? Not residual, but the salary that they could save. What would you tell them to invest in?
That's a good question. So I think housing is definitely something that is attainable.
You think so? If you're
It
making
really does.
70K and the minimum that you can get
Let
for in a
me
condo is 700,
let me
you want to
hold
land?
up,
Okay,
hold
I'm gonna
up,
let you
hold
land.
up,
Sorry.
wait, wait.
Let you
Let me
land.
finish the thought, brother. Let me finish the thought.
Okay.
What I'm saying, what I mean, just in
Mhm.
general, it's attainable, as opposed to say stock market. Stock market, you need at least 100,000, right? Just to see something, in terms of your dividends. You can start at maybe 50 or something thousand, but you're gonna probably be disappointed with the little bit of if dividends you get, and then there's not a lot of room to play. So I digress with stocks. What I'm saying with housing is it's something that is attainable and it's something that can really build wealth. It's a slow grind, but it is there for the masses. What I mean by that, or so let me add to that, at 40, 50,000, 60,000, 70,000 that you earn, it will be controversial, it will be difficult, and I'm not a real estate expert, so I don't know, but buy a studio apartment. Studio apartment, I know it's
Mm,
crazy, 300, 400 square
I
feet,
I have to
but
push.
hear me out, Jai. Hear me out.
No, but before I hear you out,
It's better to
let me
be,
push back on that. Rental.
you know I'm gonna lose my thought.
That's good. I want to win this argument. Studio apartment. Tougher to rent? Yes or no?
It's tougher to rent.
Tougher to sell? Yes or no?
It's tougher to sell.
A lot of builders don't even do studio apartments anymore. A lot of builders, and there's a reason for it. So that's where I push back and say I wouldn't recommend, or I wouldn't tell someone that's coming out of not high school, university, that has 60, 70 grand to buy a condo, a studio apartment.
What do you use that with? What do you use that money for? What else would you invest in? This is what I'm trying this is what I'm trying to say. There's not much options. And
Buy
again, the
gold,
whole logic
buy
is
insurance.
again, slow grinds. Those are slow grinds. Those are definitely things that you want in your portfolio for life, 100%. But at the end of the day, those things you can accumulate over time. You buy 5,000 of that and let it sit there for the next 30, 40 years. That's perfect. You can do that. But that's 40 years from now. You get it? That's a retirement move.
Well,
We're talking about you want to build equity in your generation when you're of age. The only real thing where you can really get a lump sum of money in a really fast way is real estate. There's
I no, I
nothing
agree with you.
else.
I think, yeah.
Investments and stocks, that's a slow grind. That's a 30-year thing. That's a 40-year thing. The only other thing possibly are certain insurance
Mhm.
policies, right? But you have to have a lot of money. Like a 20 pay that I have, does a kid, making 70, 60, can he spend 800 to 600 bucks a month for the next 20 years? Seems attainable, but sometimes
Sometimes,
that's
yeah.
not as easy when you're 20 some years
But
old. So
here's,
what I'm saying is with
go ahead. No,
last thing,
go
what I'm
ahead.
saying though is with the real estate, yes, it's not popular, it's not desirable, but here's the trick. Market is always saturated. Yes, the market will go up and down, but demand is demand. There's no more land being built in this world. No more land. There's no more land being built. So the bottom line is that usually with a lot of popular condos, they do market to the people that can't afford the big stuff. So they'll always I've seen again, I bought my condo in 2019 for 1.1 million downtown Toronto and they're studio apartments. It's ridiculous, like 300 square foot, and it's almost like a tin can. But the point of the matter is that they're there and they're going for 400,000, right? So that's what I'm saying. So get that. Again, it's not ideal. If you have something better, if you have more resources, if you can wait to get like a one bedroom, do it. But I'm just saying the bottom line is sometimes you don't really, if you have, I always say don't worry about the market. If you have the means and you're ready, just jump in. Don't worry about timing the market. But I'm just saying at the end of the day, buy what you can afford. And it's better to just get in the game and have some skin in the game than have nothing.
What would you say for, or would you say to someone who wants to just buy an expensive car, given that they've worked hard for it?
The challenge with that is that those are usually luxury items that in good times and good market times, like where there's no recession or anything, those things can pay off. But the reality is that those things are fleeting. It's sort of like watches, right? You have watches, that's definitely an investment to buy high-end Rolex, Piaget watches, but again, that's a big man's game. It's a rich man's game. If you have 10, $15,000 and you have it to throw away, then yeah, maybe get a watch or something, or buy one of those collector watches or Pokemon cars, whatever. These things are all collectible, but they're subjective.
Gotcha.
If in that case, I would say just buy gold. I would say if you just only got 10 grand, that's all you have to throw away, buy some gold, buy
Yeah, buy
crypto,
some gold,
things like
melt it,
that. I don't
and
think.
rock it, man. This is ice on. Rock your gold.
Yeah, you can. Yeah, you can do like
No,
the
that's
rappers
not what I'm
Jay Z and
saying.
P Diddy
That's
and
not what
all.
I'm saying. I can't remember where I was listening to it. I think it was the former Jets football coach. He was giving a speech to rookie players. I think it was New York Jets. Yeah, can't remember his
Hmm.
name. Hillman Till, I can't remember. But what he said was the rule of one. He's talking to rookies. One wife or one girlfriend. One chain. If you have to buy luxury or items like jewelry items, one chain, one watch, one car, one house. Make it. We're just giving them that speech, and I was like, that's deep because if you follow that trend, I mean, some people might. If you legitimately follow it the way it should be, and you don't go out and say, okay, well, he said I should buy one, so I might as well just spend all my money and buy one chain because that's obviously not what he's saying. It's limit yourself to what you get just because you come across not quick money, but fast money. Fast money comes,
Mhm.
but slow problems, man. So I think that's a speech that I'll find that video and then maybe share it on our link, and you guys can like and subscribe and watch it. But it was very, very telling, very informative. Just when you come across money as a youth,
Like,
subscribe. Oh,
subscribe.
I'm like, what are you doing, bro? I'm like, oh yeah, oh yeah, thumbs up and then subscribe. Yeah, that's okay, okay. What are you feeling now? Like now, like you're some kind of sign language.
I feel like that's the Toronto. Feel like I'm cool
I'm
now. You know
cool
what I
now.
mean? Instead of the Crip.
But anyways, yeah. So guys, if you want to splurge, you know, think about the rule of ones. It might not apply to you because you're not a ball player, but when you come across money, just be responsible with how you spend it. Think about the future. Don't think about the now. Fine, you want to go to clubs, you want to have chase girls, you want to buy this and buy that, but a year from when you buy that item, you're not gonna need it anymore. So what's the point?
Mm.
So always think ahead is my advice.
Yeah. And I really believe my last thought is delayed gratification is something that is very important. I think when you wait for something and you're patient about it and you don't just buy it impulsively, I think that shows character. It shows restraint. It shows this is what I also do. If I really, really want it, I'll think about it again. So I'll want something in the moment, but sometimes I let it go. And then after, if I think about it like a week later, a month later, then I know that I really did want it.
Hmm.
You know what I mean? Sometimes it's just that heat of the moment. You really love those Jordans and things like that. But then after a while, you
Man,
forget about it,
don't
right?
don't get me started about Jordan.
So that's it. But I think it was a great topic. So please like and subscribe. We're trying to break these algorithms. Right now, the algorithms are kicking our butts, and so we're trying to we're trying to get on that offensive. You know what I mean? So please like and subscribe,
We need
and
you guys.
show us some love.
That's for
Exactly.
sure.
All right. All right. Take care,
Have
guys.
a good night.
Peace.
Bye.